My husband lied to me, saying he was taking me on a honeymoon, but instead he sold me into the mountains. I just woke up and found my wrists tied to the bedposts and an iron chain on my ankles. Outside the door, a stranger was making a phone call. He said, "I've received the money. In 3 days. I'll have her killed." The voice on the other end was my husband Ryan Miller's. I'd heard that voice for 3 months. Gentle, clean, like he would never lie. But he said, "Don't damage her face. I'll still need her photo at the funeral." All the blood in my body turned cold. Turns out, this wasn't a honeymoon. It was my death rehearsal. The door opened. A tall man walked in. He had a heavy beard and smelled of alcohol and smoke. He held a glass of water and stood by the bed, looking at me. Awake. He smiled. "Emma, you're prettier than in the photo." I stared at him, saying nothing. My throat was dry, and my head was hurting that I and the last glass of wine Ryan gave me. There was definitely something. I remember the scene from last night. He said he would take me to a quiet mountain cabin. He said there was no signal, no one to disturb us. Just the two of us. I asked him with a smile, "Is this a surprise?" He kissed my forehead and said, "You'll remember this honeymoon forever." I definitely will now. This man brought water to my lips. I didn't drink it. He raised his eyebrows. "You're quite stubborn. Who are you?" I asked. "Caleb Stone." He said, "Your future husband." My stomach churned. "I have a husband." Caleb laughed. He laughed loudly, like he'd heard a very stupid joke. "Your husband sold you to me." I clenched my fists. The rope rubbed against my skin, burning and painful. Impossible. Caleb took out his phone and opened a video. On the screen, Ryan stood by the mountain road that he was wearing the gray coat I bought for him, holding a black bag. Caleb's voice came through the video. "She'll cause trouble when she wakes up." Ryan smiled. The smile was unfamiliar. "Just tell her it was her who came with you. She's been having mood swings lately. She has anxiety. No one will believe her." I looked at Ryan in the video, my heart feeling as if it were being held in someone's hand. He continued, 3 days later, "I'll come to confirm. Clean up well. The cause of her death must be a fall from the cliff." The video ended. The room fell silent. Caleb put away his phone and looked down at me. "Now do you believe me?" I didn't cry. I should have cried. I should have screamed, struggled, begged him to let me go. But at that moment, I had only one thought. I had to live. Only by living could I tear Ryan's face off and show everyone what he was hiding underneath. Caleb reached out to touch my face. I turned my head to avoid him. His expression darkened, and he grabbed my chin. "Here. You don't qualify to hide." I stared into his eyes. "How much money did Ryan give you?" He hesitated for a moment. I knew I asked the right question. Greedy people fear most when others get more. Caleb released my chin, sneering. "Why do you ask? He deceived you." I said. Caleb's gaze changed. I continued. "Ryan didn't tell you who I am. He also didn't tell you. My father left me a trust fund. As long as I'm alive, the money is useful. If I die, it will be locked away for a long time." It wasn't entirely true, but at this moment, the truth didn't matter. What mattered was that it could give me an extra minute to live. Caleb stared at me, as if judging how much I was worth. "You're trying to deceive me." "I want to live." I said. "You want money. We now have the same enemy." Caleb's smile slowly faded. Finally, he placed his glass on the bedside table. "You're smarter than the previous ones." "Previous ones?" My heart tightened. "What previous ones?" He didn't answer that. He took the keys out of his pocket, untied the rope around my wrist, but didn't open the iron chain on my ankle. "Drink. Don't die too fast." I took the cup, my fingers trembling. This time, I drank. I had to stay awake. Caleb turned around and walked to the door, then looked back at me. "We're taking pictures tonight. You look great in this wedding dress." The door closed. The sound of the lock echoed. I sat on the bed, looking down at the red mark on my wrist. 3 months ago, I got married to Ryan at the city hall. That day, he looked at me and said, "Emma, I will protect you for life." Now, I'm wearing a wedding dress prepared by someone else, locked in the deep mountains. I wanted to laugh. I really laughed. Laughing and laughing. Tears fell down, but I only cried for 10 seconds. After 10 seconds, I wiped my face. I started observing the room. The log cabin wasn't big. There was an old wardrobe in the corner of the wall. The windows were boarded up, leaving only a slit. There are iron chains by the bed, fixed to the floor. The door is locked with an iron lock. The keyhole is very old. There's a candle, red wine, and a photo frame on the bedside. I reached for the photo frame. The photo shows me. No, it shows my face. But in the photo, I'm wearing this wedding dress, standing beside Caleb. Caleb has his arms around my waist, smiling like a real groom. I examined the photo. This isn't a candid shot. It's a composite. Someone created it in advance. Ryan knows. Caleb knows. Maybe more people know. I put the photo frame back. When my fingers touched the edge of the wood, I felt a sharp crack. I slowly pulled out a small piece of wood splinter and hid it inside the wedding dress. Very small, but useful. The sky is getting dark. Dog barks can be heard from outside, along with the sound of a man walking. I hear Caleb talking to someone in the yard. The other person's voice is low. "Is she awake?" "She's awake." Ryan said 3 days. Ryan didn't give me enough money. Caleb's voice turned cold. That woman is worth more than he said. A brief silence. The other person said, don't be greedy. The last greedy person died. I held my breath. The last one. There's more than Caleb here. There's a line. After a while, the footsteps went away. When the door opened again, Caleb came in with an old camera. Stand up, he said. I didn't move. He walked over and pulled me. The iron chain clanged, and I almost fell. What are you going to take a picture of? I asked. A wedding photo. I want smile. Caleb moved closer to me, lowering his voice. You will. The first few didn't smile at first, but they learned later that I watched the brooch he placed by the bed. It was originally pinned on the shoulder of the wedding dress. A small silver flower. The edges were very sharp. Caleb grabbed my arm and dragged me to the wall. A white cloth hung on the wall, inscribed with Caleb Emma. My stomach started churning again. He stood behind me, one hand pressing my shoulder, the other holding the camera remote. Smile. I lowered my head. He got impatient and reached to pinch my waist. As he lowered his head, I grabbed the brooch and used the tip to his back. Blood gushed out instantly. Caleb roared, slapping me in the face. I fell to the ground, my ears ringing. He rushed over, grabbing my hair. I immediately started crying. I wasn't trying to escape. I shouted. I was just scared. He stopped. I looked up at him, my voice trembling. Ryan lied to you that he wants me dead. But if you kill me, you'll only get the money he gave you. Caleb's hand was still grabbing my hair. I continued. Do you think Ryan will give you more? He'll put all the blame on you. When he comes back to the city, he'll cry that he can't find me. You'll become the only murderer. Caleb's breathing grew heavier. I knew he was listening. I seized the opportunity. Let me live. Let me contact my lawyer. The money you can get will be much more than what Ryan gave you. He stared at me for a long time. Finally, he let go of my hair. I fell to the ground, gasping for breath. Caleb looked down at his bleeding hand and smiled. You really know how to talk. He crouched down, pinching my face. Fine. I'll give you one night. In the morning, tell me how to get the money. If you dare to lie to me, they'll show you that death isn't the worst thing. He stood up and dragged me towards the door. I stumbled almost unsteadily, tripped by the iron chain that he opened a door at the end of the corridor and pushed me down the stairs. I rolled onto the cold ground. The door slammed shut above me. Darkness surrounded me. I lay on the ground, in pain, almost unable to move. After a few seconds, I smelled a musty odor, mixed with the scent of blood. It wasn't fresh blood. It was the smell of something that had been there for a long time. I slowly got to my feet. The basement was dark. Several white wedding dresses hung on the walls. I reached out and felt for a rope. Finding one, the lights turned on. A dim yellow light shone down. I saw 7 wedding dresses hanging neatly on the wall. Below each one, a name was pinned. Megan, Grace, Olivia, Sophie, Lily, and 2 names I didn't recognize. The last one was new. Its tag read, Emma Miller. My last name was originally Carter. After the wedding, Ryan insisted that I change it to Miller. He said, I want us to be a real family. Now I finally understand that he didn't want to give me a home. He wanted to give me a tombstone. There was a gray cloth in the corner of the basement. I walked over, lifted it. Below was a tombstone. The stone was still new, with no dust on the edges. The tombstone was engraved with my name, Emma Miller. Below was a date. 3 days later, I stood before the tombstone, chills running down my spine. They had even set a date for my death. I'm not a person. I'm just an object in their plan. I looked at the tombstone and suddenly noticed a glint of metal behind it. I crouched down, picked it up with my hand. It was a ring, a men's wedding ring. Engraved on the inside was a small line of text. Ryan, Megan. My breath stopped. Ryan and Megan. The first wedding dress on the wall. And also Megan. I clutched the ring tightly. So Ryan didn't just sell me. Before me, he had already sold another wife. And that woman, she had also been here. Just then, a faint sound came from deep in the basement, like someone breathing in the dark. I turned around abruptly. A pale hand reached out from the gap in the innermost wooden cabinet. Then, a woman's hoarse voice spoke. Hide the ring. He will come back for it. I didn't scream. In places like this, screaming would only call the wolves. I stared at the wooden cabinet. The hand slowly withdrew. I lowered my voice. Who are you? There was a long silence inside. Then, the cabinet door was pushed open a crack. A woman out from inside. She was thin, her face as white as paper. Her hair was messy, and her arm was covered in old scars. She looked her early 20s, but had a pair of very old eyes. Lily Brooks, she said. There was a wedding dress on the wall. The tag was Lily's. I instinctively looked over. Lily saw it too. She smiled, but it was hollow. I haven't died yet, so that dress has been hanging there. Caleb said, when I die, hell burn it. I tightened the ring. Why were you hiding in the closet? Because Caleb likes to come down and count his spoils when he's drunk. Lily looked at me. I didn't want him to see I was still trying to escape. She walked to the wall and touched the wedding dress that had Megan's name on it. Do you know Megan? No, I said, but I know Ryan. Lily's expression changed. She slowly looked at me. Ryan Miller. He's my husband. Lily closed her eyes. Her reaction sent a chill down my spine. You know him. Of course I do. she said. He's been here many times that I felt like someone pushed me from behind. Ryan has been here many times. That is, it wasn't an accident. This isn't the first time he's walked this mountain path. Who else did he bring here? I asked. Lily didn't answer immediately. She walked to the corner, picked up an old cloth, and wiped her hands. What you should be concerned about now isn't the past, she said. It's 3 days from now. I know they're going to kill me. You don't know how they'll kill you. Lily's voice was low. They'll let you live first to take a few photos. The photos will prove you were moving freely in the mountains. Then they'll make you fall off the cliff. If the body isn't found, Ryan will say you disappeared. If the body is found, they'll say you were mentally unstable and jumped yourself. My palms sweated. Ryan had thought every step through. How do you know? Lily looked at me. Because I've seen it. I didn't ask who that person was anymore. The answer was on the wall. Megan, Grace, Olivia, Sophie. These names were driven deep into my mind. Lily walked up to me, spreading her hands. The ring to me. I took a step back. She wasn't angry. If you keep it, you'll be found out. Why should I trust you? You shouldn't trust me, she said calmly. Here. Trusting others means dying quickly. She pulled a thin wire out of her hair and pushed it into my palm. But you can use this to pick old locks. The chain at the foot of the bed. It's an old lock. Don't do it during the day. Wait until the dogs bark for the 3rd time at night. I looked at the wire. Why are you helping me? Lily looked at the wedding dress on the wall. I'm not a good person, she said, but I don't want to see a new wedding dress anymore. Suddenly, footsteps echoed from above. Lily's expression changed. She pointed to the wooden box in the corner. Get in. I didn't move. She whispered. Quick. I crawled into the box. The lid shut, leaving only a narrow slit. The basement door opened. Caleb came down. He held a bottle of wine. His steps unsteady. Lily, he called. Where have you gone? Lily stood under the light, her head down. I'm tidying up. Caleb walked up to her, pinching her chin. How's the new one? She's very scared. Scared is good. Caleb smiled. Scared means they'll listen. He walked to the wall, touching the wedding dress with my name written on it. This one is nice. Ryan has good taste. Lily's body trembled slightly. Caleb suddenly turned to look at her. You know what? Ryan said she's worth more than Megan. My heart stopped for a moment. Megan, Caleb continued. Megan lied to me. She said she could give me a lot of money, but she ran off. Tell me, will this one also lie to me? Lily was silent. Caleb slapped her face. I bit my lips in the wooden box, almost bursting out. Don't move. If we rush out now, both of us will be finished. Caleb crouched down, grabbing Lily's hair. Answer me. Lily's voice was very soft. She looks more afraid of death than Megan. Caleb smiled contentedly. Those who fear death are best controlled. He stood up, took a sip of wine. The vet will come tomorrow. The dog got too excited because of that woman and bit its leg. Watch her. Don't let her talk nonsense. Vet. I remembered the word. After Caleb left, Lily opened the wooden box. My leg had already gone numb. Blood was dripping from her mouth, but she just wiped it casually. The vet coming tomorrow is Noah Grant, she said. Don't trust him. Why? He used to help a woman escape. Lily looked at me. Then that woman died. The next morning, Caleb brought me back from the basement to the room. He unlocked the chain and replaced it with a longer iron chain, allowing me to move around the room. If you behave, you'll get breakfast. There was bread, eggs, and a glass of milk on the table. I didn't touch the milk. Caleb noticed and smiled. Afraid he'll drug you. I looked at him. Ryan has drugged me once already. Caleb laughed loudly. You hate him. It'll make him pay. I said. The statement had 2 meanings. Caleb only understood the first one. He was satisfied. Around 10 in the morning, an old pickup truck was parked outside the yard. The barking was fierce. Caleb went out to open the door. I stood by the window, looking out through the gaps in the boards. A man got off the truck. He was wearing a black jacket and carrying a medical kit. Tall, broad shoulders, short hair. He didn't look very gentle, but he was calm. That was Noah Grant. He knelt down to examine the dog's wound. The dog whimpered softly, not even biting him. Caleb cursed. Hurry up. Don't waste time. Noah ignored him. After a few minutes, he went inside for water. Caleb sat by the door, smoking, his gaze not fully leaving us. Noah walked to the table and saw the chain on my ankle. His gaze paused for a second, just 1 second. Then he averted his eyes, as if nothing had happened. My heart sank. Lily was right. You can't trust him. I deliberately knocked over the cup. Water spilled all over the floor that I bent down to pick up the pieces, revealing the marks on my wrist. Noah still didn't react. Caleb cursed from outside. What are you doing? I said. I slipped. Noah knelt down to help me pick up the pieces. His fingers touched my back. It was brief. He pushed a piece of broken ceramic into my palm. I froze. He didn't look at me, just whispered, "Don't use it. It's too obvious." Then he took the ceramic back and threw it in the trash can. I understood. He was telling me someone was watching. Before leaving, Noah gave Caleb a bottle of dog medicine. Twice a day, he said. Caleb took it impatiently. Noah walked to the door and suddenly glanced back at me. This time, His eyes weren't cold, they were warning. After he left, Caleb threw the bottle on the table. Give the dog the medicine. When I picked up the bottle, I noticed a small piece of paper stuck to the bottom. I walked to the kitchen and opened it with my back to Caleb, only one line of text on the paper. I will live through the third day. I will come back. My fingers tightened. Noah wasn't not saving me. He was waiting for the right moment. But I don't like waiting. Waiting is others deciding my fate. I must create the right moment myself. In the afternoon, Caleb received a call from Ryan. He didn't avoid me. Maybe in his eyes, I was already an animal locked away. She's much more obedient now, Caleb said. Ryan's voice was low on the other end of the phone. Don't be fooled by her. Emma is very good at pretending to be pitiful. I sat at the table, lowering my head to peel an egg. Ryan knows my weakness too well, but he doesn't understand my hatred. Caleb sneered. She says her father left a lot of money. There was a 2-second silence on the other end of the phone. These 2 seconds confirmed it for me. Ryan panicked. She's lying to you, Ryan said. Her money can only be accessed after she dies. You don't think so? Caleb said. If she died, I could only take what you gave me. But if she's alive, maybe I can get more. Ryan's voice turned cold. You'd better stick to the plan. Are you ordering me? Caleb, don't be greedy. Don't talk to me like that. Caleb stood up. Do you think I don't know about Megan? You said you'd make it up to her. Where's the money? My hand stopped. Megan that time. Ryan didn't answer. Caleb continued. This time you better bring cash. Otherwise, I don't guarantee how she'll die. He hung up the phone. The house was quiet. Caleb looked at me. I looked up, pretending to be scared. I'm not lying to you, I said. Ryan lied to you. He's been lying to everyone. Caleb stared at me, as if considering whether to believe me. Finally, he walked over, grabbed my hair, forcing me to lift my face. Tell me your lawyer's number tomorrow. Okay, don't try anything. I want to live, I said. That phrase always works, because bad people always think those who fear death are easy to control. That night, Caleb, drunk, slept upstairs. The dog barked for the first time. I sat by the bed, listening to the wind. The dog barked the second time. I took the wire Lily gave me from the veil layer. The dog barked the third time. I crouched down and inserted the wire into the lock of the ankle chain. My hands were trembling, not because of fear, but because I was too clear that if I failed, Caleb would kill me immediately. Click. The lock opened. I gently took off the chain. The skin and flesh of my ankle, which had been rubbed raw, stung painfully, almost making me cry out. I held back. I walked to the door, pressing my ear against it. There was no sound outside. I opened the door. The corridor was dark. Caleb's door was half open, and snoring could be heard from inside. I went downstairs barefoot. Every step was light. The basement door was unlocked. Maybe Caleb thought no one could escape this mountain, so he didn't care. I went down to find evidence. The ring of Ryan and Megan, which I had hidden in the wall crevice during the day. I took it out and went to search Caleb's cabinet. The cabinet was locked, that a wire was inserted, but it didn't budge. I tried 3 times, my palms full of sweat. On the 4th try, the lock opened. The cabinet door made a loud noise. I froze. No movement from upstairs. I opened the metal cabinet. Inside were file folders, an ID card, an old phone, photos, and several memory cards. I quickly searched. Megan Price, Grace Allen, Olivia Reed, Sophie Grant, Lily Brooks. Every name has a file. Age, address, family, financial status. These women were not picked randomly. They were chosen. They all have common traits. Living alone, well off, few family members, easily labeled emotionally unstable by outsiders. I flipped to the bottom. There was a yellowed. There was no woman's name on it. Only a date. 7th. Years ago. I don't know why. My heart suddenly started beating faster. I opened the paper bag. A photo fell out. The photo showed a young woman. She was wearing a blue dress, standing next to a car, smiling gently. I recognized that dress. I had seen that face countless times. In the old photo frame on my bedside. In my father's wallet. In every childhood dream I had. That was my mother, Laura Carter. I froze in place. My mother died in a car accident. Everyone told me that I was 6 years old, when she drove out and never came back. Victoria later became my stepmother. She said she would take care of me. She said if my mother were still alive, she would also want me to be happy. But now, my mother's photo appeared in Caleb's iron, together with the women who were sold. A line of text was written on the back of the photo. Delivered, Victoria Hale. I held the photo, my hands trembling almost to the point of not being able to hold it. Suddenly, I heard the sound of wood from above. Caleb woke up. He shouted from upstairs, Emma. I immediately shoved the photo into my chest and put the file bag back. The footsteps got closer and closer. The basement door was flung open. Light shone down from the stairs. Caleb stood there, holding a gun. He looked at the open iron, then at me. The smile on his face gradually disappeared. What are you looking for? I clutched my mother's photo. At this moment, I finally understood. Ryan selling me into the deep mountains wasn't the beginning of this nightmare. 17 years ago, My mother was already dead here, and I was the next wedding dress they had waited 17 years for. Chapter. My mom died here, and I almost became the next wedding dress. Caleb held the gun. Walking down step by step, I stood in front of the iron, my palms full of sweat. If he searched me, he would find the photo of my mother. That photo would let him know that I had discovered the deepest secret. I had to speak first. I'm looking for something that can prove Ryan deceived you, I said. Caleb stopped on the last step. His gun was still aimed. Did you find it? I looked at him, forcing myself not to look at my chest. I did. He narrowed his eyes. I took Megan Price's file folder from the iron and threw it to the ground. Ryan used to bring women here too. Megan, you said she escaped, but Ryan definitely didn't tell you. He took her property later. Caleb's expression changed. I continued. He's been using you. You handle the dirty work. He handles the money that he returned to the city. As a grieving husband, you stay in the mountains. Become the master of all sins. Caleb stared at me. His gun slowly shifted slightly. I knew I was right. Caleb feared being used, compared to me running away. He hated Ryan taking advantage of him more. How do you know these things? He asked. Because I know Ryan, I said. He never lies to just one person. Caleb was silent for a few seconds, then suddenly laughed. You're really interesting. He walked up to me, reached out and touched my face. I restrained myself from dodging. He whispered, if Ryan hadn't been in such a hurry to have you dead, I would have liked to keep you here a bit longer. My heart sank. You don't have to listen to him, Caleb said, his smile turning colder. I don't listen to anyone, but I also don't like trouble. You know too much, he said, grabbing my arm and dragging me out of the basement. He threw me back into the room. He relocked my feet, replacing the chains with a thicker one. No waiting until tomorrow, he said. Ryan will come tomorrow night. I looked up at him. Isn't it 3 days from now? The plans changed. Caleb crouched down, patted my face. You're too smart. Smart women can't be kept too long. The door closed. I sat on the ground, my chest pressed against my mother's photo. I finally started to shake. Not because of Ryan, not because of Caleb, but because of Victoria. Victoria Hale, my stepmother. She walked into my house when I was 6 years old. She would braid my hair, take me to the dentist, and check my temperature when I had a fever. I once really called her mom. Now I know. She might have sent my real mother to hell herself. Hate burned like fire. I took out my mother's photo and looked at the words on the back. Delivered. Victoria Hale. The handwriting was old, but every word felt like a fresh wound. I couldn't die. I couldn't possibly die. Suddenly, a very light knock came from outside. 2.3 times. I looked up. A piece of wood under the bed moved. Lily squeezed out from the closet. I looked at her, lowering my voice. Is there another passage here? It's not a passage, she said. Just a mouse hole. You can only crawl through part of it. She saw the new lock on my feet and her expression turned grim. He found you. Yes. Then you won't survive until tomorrow night. Ryan is coming tomorrow night, that I said. Lily froze. He showed up early, because I found something. I handed her my mother's photo. Lily glanced at it, and her expression changed instantly. Do you recognize her? She's my mother. Lily's lips parted slightly. In that moment, the numbness in her eyes cracked. Wow, she whispered. So you're her daughter. I grabbed her wrist. Do you know my mother? Lily glanced at the door, making sure Caleb hadn't heard, before saying, I haven't met her. By the time I arrived, it was long ago, but I heard Caleb talk about a woman after he got drunk. She was very beautiful, wouldn't lower her head. Caleb said, she was different from other women. My throat tightened. How did she die? Lily was silent. I stared at her. Tell me. She didn't die immediately. Lily's voice was soft. She escaped once. She almost made it to the mountain road. Later, someone brought her back. Who? Lily looked at the name on the back of the photo. The answer is already there. Victoria. I closed my eyes. I thought I would break, but I didn't. My heart became very quiet, very cold. I kept the photo close to my body. I'm going out, I said. I'm going to drag Ryan and Victoria down with me. Lily looked at me. You can't even get out of the door right now. So I need Noah. Lily's expression changed. I told you. Don't trust him. He left me a note. He said he would come back. Lily gritted her teeth. It won't do any good if he comes back. Ryan is here early. Then let him know early. I looked at her. Can you get out? Lily didn't speak. I continued. You've been here for 2 years. You must know how to avoid Caleb. I know, she said, but I can't leave. Why? She looked down at her hands. Caleb has my sister's address. He said if I run, he will bring her too. I was silent. This isn't cowardice. This is being held hostage at my own weak point. Lily looked up at me, her eyes filled with pain. I'm not the kind of good person you think I am. There was a woman who wanted to escape, and I didn't help her. I even told Caleb. I didn't say anything. She continued. Because Caleb said if she ran, he'd get my sister. The woman was brought back, and she died the next day. Maybe her name was in the wedding dress on the wall. Lily's tears fell. So don't treat me like a friend. I don't deserve it. I looked at her for a long time. Then I said, you didn't have a choice before. She shook her head. No. I did. I just chose myself. Choose again now. Lily looked at me. I said, help me, and help my sister. As soon as I get out, I'll hand over all the evidence. Caleb, Ryan, Victoria, none of them will get away. She smiled, but it was bitter. Why do you think you can win? I smiled too, because they all think I'll lose. In that moment, Lily's eyes changed. She wasn't like a living corpse anymore. She was like a person. She took out a small piece of metal from her sleeve. This is half of the spare key. The other half is with Noah. I froze. Noah. Lily nodded. He is indeed looking into this place. His sister Sophie disappeared 5 years ago. The wedding dress on the wall is Sophie's. I remembered the name of the basement. Sophie. Noah wasn't just a passing veterinarian. He was a person with wounds. Then why did you tell me not to trust him? Lily looked out the window. Because last time, he also wanted to save someone, but he failed. That woman died, and he almost died too. Since then, Caleb has always suspected him. Noah can't act lightly. Will he be here tonight? I don't know. Just as she said that, a bird call came from outside the window. Short, unnatural. Lily jumped up abruptly. It's him. She climbed to the window, peering through the gap in the board. It was very dark outside. The shadows of the trees swayed. A person stood in the shadows outside the yard. Noah that he didn't come near. He just raised his hand, pointing in a direction. Lily's face was tense. He told us to take the old mine tunnel tomorrow night. I asked, does he know Ryan will come? Doesn't know. Then tell him. Lily took out a small pencil and piece of paper from the drawer. I quickly wrote a few words. Ryan will be early. Tomorrow night. Cliff. Victoria. Old evidence. Laura Carter. I handed the paper to Lily. She climbed back into the drawer and disappeared from the other side. I sat in the dark, listening to my own heartbeat. After a few minutes, she came back. Send it out. What did he say? He said, tomorrow night isn't for escape. Lily looked at me. It's to let you die once. The next day, Caleb made me put on the wedding dress with Emma Miller's name on it. He cleaned my face and combed my hair. His actions were rough, but very serious, like arranging a product for sale. Ryan likes your face, he said. He said you look good when you cry. I didn't speak. Caleb picked up his phone and took a picture of me. Smile. I looked at the lens and slowly smiled. Caleb paused for a moment. I knew this smile couldn't possibly belong to someone who was about to die. More like someone who was ready to send someone else to their death. In the afternoon, Ryan arrived. I saw his car parked outside the yard through the window. When he got out, he was wearing a clean white shirt. How absurd. At a place like this, he still looked like he was going to a wedding. Caleb went out to greet him. The two stood in the yard talking. Ryan's face was terrible. Why the early start? He asked. Caleb sneered. Because your wife is too smart. Ryan looked at the cabin. I stood in the shadows, seeing a flash of disdain in his eyes. No worry, no guilt, only impatience after the trouble was discovered. Caleb said, I want more money. Ryan lowered his voice. Are you crazy? If this gets out of hand, we're both done. Then deal with it now. Ryan was silent. Then he said, tonight, the cliff. I closed my eyes. He wasn't the least bit hesitant. 8 o'clock at night, Caleb opened the door and unlocked my foot chains. Ryan stood at the doorway. He saw me in my wedding dress and his gaze paused for a second. Emma, he whispered. If I didn't know the truth, I might have cried at this sound. He walked over, reaching out to touch my face as he always did. I took a step back. Ryan's hand froze in midair. Caleb laughed beside me. She doesn't like you much, Ryan said, withdrawing his hand with a gentle expression. Emma, I know you're scared right now. Come with me. He'll take you home. I looked at him. Which home? Ours, or yours and Megan's? Ryan's expression changed, for only a moment, but I saw it. Caleb saw it too. Did you tell her? Ryan asked Caleb. Caleb sneered. What are you afraid of? Dead people don't talk. Ryan stared at me, his eyes finally showing no pretense. Cold, hateful, filled with malice. He stepped closer to me, pressing his ear to my ear. Why aren't you dead yet? I looked at the distant forest that I wanted to see you go to hell first. Ryan chuckled. You're still so naive. He grabbed my arm and shoved me into the car. The car drove into the depths of the mountain road. Caleb sat in the passenger seat. Ryan sat beside me, holding a knife. Don't think about running, he said. I looked out the window. The dark woods flew past quickly. In the distance, there was thunder. A storm was coming. This was the timing, Noah said. At the end of the mountain road was a cliff. Below was a dark valley. The wind was strong. Caleb made me get out of the car. Ryan took out his phone and started recording a video. His voice became gentle and painful again. Emma, calm down. Don't go forward, please. I almost laughed. He was already acting. He was filming my death certificate. I walked step by step toward the edge of the cliff. Caleb stood behind me. Ryan filmed while saying, she's losing her mind. She won't let me get close. I turned to look at him. Ryan. He looked up. That I said, do you know what I regret the most? He didn't answer. What I regret most isn't marrying you, I said. Is that I once truly believed you were a person. Ryan's expression darkened completely. Caleb said impatiently, enough. He reached out to push me. Right at that moment, A faint light glowed below the valley. Noah was there. I fell backward as planned. The wind whistled past my ear. Ryan's shout echoed from above. Emma. He played his part well. I fell off the cliff. My body hit the branches, the pain tearing through my back and arms. The next second, a net caught me. The huge impact almost knocked me unconscious. Someone grabbed my wrist and dragged me into the cave beneath the cliff face. I thought it was Noah, but when I opened my eyes, it wasn't Noah. It was a woman. She had messy blonde hair and a faint scar on her face. She looks very thin, but her eyes are dazzling. She lowered her head and looked at me, smiling slightly. Emma Carter. I was breathless, almost unable to speak. Who are you? She tossed a ring into my arms. The ring was exactly the same as the one I found in the basement, engraved on the inside. Ryan. Megan. The woman looked at me. My name is Megan Price. She paused, her voice very soft, yet it sounded like a thunderbolt striking my ears. Welcome to the list of the dead. Emma. From now on, Ryan will think you're dead. And you must learn to come back like a ghost. Megan Price wasn't dead. She stood in the cave, draped in an old coat, her face pale, but her eyes bright. I lay on the ground, injured on my back and arms. Branches had torn my skin when I fell from the cliff. The pain kept me, and also confirmed that I was still alive. Megan crouched in front of me, handing me a bottle of water. Drink some, you can't pass out here. I took the water, my hands still trembling. Ryan said you're dead. Of course he would say that. Megan sneered. Dead people don't talk. Dead people don't come back to ask for money. I looked at her. She was much thinner than in the photo. In the photo, she was young and beautiful, with a bright smile. The person before me was like a knife burned by fire, sharp but full of scars. How did you escape? I asked. I almost died, she said. Just like you, pushed off the cliff. But the mountain was foggy that day. Caleb didn't find my body. Noah found me. Where is Noah? Megan's gaze darkened. He's distracting Caleb's men. Don't worry. He's in a lot of trouble. I pushed myself up against the rock wall. The sound of rain outside grew louder. Ryan's voice came from above the cliff. Emma. His voice was pained, broken, like a poor husband who had witnessed his wife fall. If I hadn't heard him say why aren't you dead yet just moments ago, I would almost believe him. Megan listened for a moment, then smiled. He's still a good actor. I closed my eyes. Were you fooled by him too? More foolish than you, Megan said calmly. I married him 6 months after we met. He said I was the most special person he'd ever known. He said I didn't need to face the world alone. She paused. Her voice turned cold. Later I found out. He said the same thing to every woman. I gripped the water bottle. Why wasn't he caught? Because I didn't have evidence. Megan looked at me. After I escaped, I called the police. Ryan said I was delusional. He showed them hospital records, saying I had chronic anxiety. He said I was framing him for money. Did the police believe him? They didn't fully believe him, but they didn't believe me either. Megan whispered. No body, no transaction records, no witnesses. Caleb hid well. Victoria was cleaner. I looked up sharply. You know Victoria? Of course I do, Megan said. She was the one who picked the victims. Ryan was in charge of approaching them. Caleb was in charge of handling them. Victoria was in charge of taking the money and cleaning everything up. My breathing grew heavy. My mother was also killed by her. Megan looked at me. I took out that photo and handed it to her. She saw the words on the back of the photo. Her expression changed. Laura Carter. She whispered the name. I've heard of her. Who said that? Caleb. He said it when he was drunk. That's 17 years ago. A woman almost ruined them. She left behind some evidence, but no one knows where it is. My heart jumped. What evidence? Megan shook her head. I don't know, but Victoria has been looking for it. She's not just looking for your trust fund. She's afraid something left behind by your mother will surface. I looked at the smile on my mother's photo. It turns out Mom didn't die weakly. She fought back. She almost succeeded. The photo back against my chest. At that moment, I wasn't just living for myself. I was also living back for her. A short bird call came from outside the cave. Megan immediately turned off her flashlight. A few seconds later, a shadow crept into the cave. It was Noah. His jacket was soaked. There was blood on his forehead, but his eyes were steady. He saw me and visibly breathed a sigh of relief. Can you walk? Yes. I just stood up, but my legs gave out, and I almost fell. Noah reached out to help me. His hands were cold but steady. Don't push yourself, he said. I looked at him. What about Lily? She's still in the cabin, Noah said. She started a fire and held off Caleb's men. She had me tell you she would get out alive. My heart tightened. We can't leave her behind. I won't, Noah said, looking at me. But now, you must die first. I understood what he meant. Emma Miller had to die tonight. Only then would Ryan and Victoria relax. Only then could I return to the city, stand in a place where they couldn't see me, watch them reveal their true faces. Noah led us deeper into the cave, along a narrow, wet path. My wedding dress was torn, blood and mud mixing together. Every step, the wound ached, but I didn't stop. I couldn't stop. 2 hours later, we emerged from the old mine tunnel. A black car was parked outside. Inside were dry clothes, a first aid kit, a wig, a hat, And a new phone. Megan tossed me a black coat. Take off the wedding dress. Emma Miller is dead. I looked down at the wedding dress stained red with blood. I had wanted to burn it, but in the end, I folded it up and put it into a sealed bag. This isn't shame. This is evidence. Noah treated my wound gently. It will leave a scar. He said, it doesn't matter. I looked forward. The scar will remind me that I didn't die there. He looked up at me. What are you going to do next? Go back to the city, I said. Megan shook her head immediately. Too soon. Ryan will handle the funeral. I said, he can't wait. He wants my death certificate. He wants my money. He will definitely put on a show for everyone. Noah frowned. You want to go? I want to see him cry with my own eyes. Megan was silent for a moment, then suddenly laughed. Okay, she said. Let him see ghosts at your funeral. 3 days later, I returned to the city. I didn't use my own identity. Noah arranged a safe house. An old apartment in the suburbs. The windows faced north. No sunlight could be seen, but it was safe enough. I cut my hair short, put on a dark wig and glasses. The woman in the mirror was strangers. No longer Ryan's wife. No longer a prey in the wedding dress. When I turned on the TV, the news was reporting on my disappearance. On the screen, Ryan stood outside the police station. His eyes were red, his beard unshaven, and he looked extremely worn out. The reporter asked, Mr. Miller, do you still believe your wife is alive? Ryan choked up and said, I believe. I have to believe. Emma is the most important person in my life. I sat on the sofa, holding the remote in my hands. My nails were almost digging into my palms. Ryan continued, she's been under a lot of stress lately. She sometimes collapses suddenly. I just hope she knows. No matter what happens, I will wait for her to come home. The screen switched. Victoria appeared. She was wearing a black dress with her hair neatly tied up. She cried into the camera, her posture as elegant as if attending a charity gala. Emma is a sensitive child, Victoria said. She lost her mother at a young age and has always lacked security. We're very worried about her. I laughed. She killed my mother. Now, she stands before the camera, using my mother's death to explain my emotional instability. Megan stands behind me, saying coldly, she said the same thing about me back then. This time, Shell used the same words to get herself locked up. The next day, Ryan and Victoria announced a memorial service for me. No body, no truth, but there were flowers, photos, and the media, because they needed a scene to make everyone believe Emma Miller is dead. The memorial service was held in a small church. That day, I wore a black long dress, a black hat, and sunglasses. Standing at the back of the crowd, no one recognized me. I saw my photo placed on the podium. It was Ryan's favorite one. In the photo, him sitting by the sea, looking back at him, smiling without reservation. Back then, I thought the person behind the camera loved me. Now I know. That photo might have been chosen long ago to be placed at my funeral. Ryan walked onto the stage. He was holding a piece of paper. Before he could speak, tears fell from his eyes. Many people sighed softly. Some said, he's so pitiful. Others said, he must love her very much. I stood in the crowd, quietly watching him. Ryan lowered his head, his voice hoarse. Emma is the kindest person I've ever met. She believes in love, trusts others, and always opens her heart to them. I almost laughed out loud. He really knew me. He knew my biggest weakness. Ryan continued, if I could go back to that day, I would never let her out of my sight. He paused, as if in pain, unable to speak further. The entire room fell silent. I looked at his face and suddenly felt strange. I had once kissed this face. I had once slept beside this face. But now, to me, he was like a beautiful mask. Behind the mask was something rotten. Victoria sat in the first row, gently wiping her eyes with a handkerchief. The lawyer beside her whispered to her. I saw her nod. After the memorial service, guests slowly left. I didn't leave. I walked around to the back corridor of the church. Ryan and Victoria entered the lounge. The door wasn't fully closed. I turned on my phone's voice recorder. A low voice of Ryan came through. How much longer? Victoria said. The lawyer said the death application could take up to 2 weeks, but the trust won't unfreeze so soon. Ryan's voice was filled with anger. That's not what you said before. Calm down, Victoria said coldly. Without a body, the process will be more complicated. Who let Caleb mess things up? Ryan said. I saw her fall with my own eyes. Did you see the body with your own eyes? A few seconds of silence in the room. I stood outside the door. My heart beat steady. Victoria continued. So you'd better pray she's dead. Otherwise, we'll all have trouble. Ryan muttered a curse under his breath. What if Emma is actually alive? Victoria laughed. Then let her die again. That I was holding my phone. My knuckles white. The sound of glass cups clinking came from the break room. Ryan said. You promised me, once we get the money, well, leave here. Victoria's voice was calm. Ryan, I've promised many people many things. Don't you really think you're special? I heard Ryan's breathing grow heavier. Good. A crack had appeared. I put away my phone and turned to leave. As I walked to the parking lot, I took a white rose from my bag. It was from Megan. She said that when Ryan used to pursue her, he would send her white roses every week. I placed the flower on the front windshield of Ryan's car. Then I hid behind a car. A few minutes later, Ryan came out. He froze when he saw the white rose. His face turned pale bit by bit. He looked around sharply. Who? No one answered. The wind blew through the parking lot. Ryan grabbed the flower. As if he were holding a snake, his hands were trembling. I stood in the shadows, watching him fear, so he could also be afraid. Not afraid of my death, afraid of the dead coming back for him. I was about to leave when a woman blocked my way. She was in her 30s, with short hair, wearing a gray coat, and looked tired. I recognized her. Claire Miller, Ryan's sister. I subconsciously stepped back. Claire looked at me, her voice soft. Emma. My body tensed instantly. She recognized me. Claire didn't scream or call for help. She just slipped a note into my palm. I've been waiting for you. I stared at her. You know. Pain flashed in her eyes. I know Ryan isn't a good person, but I didn't know you were still alive. Why didn't you expose him? Claire gave a bitter laugh. Because I didn't have evidence. Because Victoria has something on me. Because I was afraid. Aren't you afraid anymore? I am, she said, but I'm more afraid of him hurting others if he continues. She glanced at the church entrance. Ryan hasn't done this for the first time. Before Megan, there were others. I left some recordings and documents, but I didn't dare hand them over alone. I didn't trust her immediately. In Caleb's basement, Lily had said one thing: don't trust anyone. Claire saw my doubt. She didn't explain, just said, 10 o'clock at night. The back door of the old laundry on River Street. I'll give you the items. If you don't come, I'll wait. She turned and walked away. I looked down at the note. It had an address written on it, and a sentence. Ryan used to blame the dead for his mistakes when he was a kid. At 10 o'clock at night, I went to River Street. Noah didn't trust it. Insisted on coming with me. Megan stayed at the safe house, keeping an eye on Ryan's location. The old laundry store had been closed for a long time. The sign. Claire stood by the back door, holding a brown paper bag. She frowned when she saw Noah. Who is he? Someone more reliable than Ryan, I said. Claire didn't ask further. She handed me the paper bag. Inside was a voice recorder, a few old photos, 2 fake identity documents, and a record of Ryan changing his name. Ryan wasn't always named Ryan Miller, Claire said. He used 3 names. When Megan knew him, he was Daniel Moore. I opened the photos. On the photos, Ryan and Megan stood by the sea. His hand was around her shoulder. The smile was as gentle as the one I remembered. A chill ran through my stomach. Claire said, Victoria changed his identity. She gave him a target. She told him who to approach. Why me? Claire looked at me, her eyes complex. Because of your father's trust. And because of your mother. My heart sank. You know about my mother. Claire shook her head. Not much. I only heard it mentioned when Ryan and Victoria argued. Victoria said, your mother hid something before she died. As long as you're alive, that thing might be found. Just as I wanted to ask more, Noah suddenly turned his head toward the alley entrance. There were car lights flashing. He whispered, someone's coming. Claire's face turned pale. I didn't tell anyone. The car door opened. 2 men got out. Not the police. Noah grabbed my hand. Let's go. We rushed into the back door of the laundry store. It was pitch black inside, filled with abandoned machines. Footsteps were approaching from behind. Noah pushed me and Claire out through the side door. To the car. We ran across the street. Just then, my phone vibrated. It was Megan calling. I answered. Her voice was urgent. Emma, Ryan isn't home. He turned off his location. He might know you're alive. I was about to reply when a dull thud came from the other end of the alley. Noah didn't follow. I turned around. He had been hit from behind and was lying on the ground. Noah. I wanted to run back. Claire held me back tightly. You can't go. 2 men dragged Noah into their car. The door closed. The car sped away. I stood in the rain, my hands and feet cold. 10 minutes later, I received a video. In the frame, Noah was tied to a chair, blood on his face. Caleb stood behind him, holding a knife. He looked at the camera, smiling coldly. Emma, I know you're not dead. Come back within an hour. Otherwise, I'll take your place in the coffin. The video ended. The phone screen went dark. I stood there, hearing my own breath. Ryan knew I was alive. Caleb also knew. And Noah was in their hands. Megan called my name over the phone. Emma, listen to me. Don't go. I looked at the end of the rainy night, slowly gripping the phone tighter. I will go, but not to die. I'm going to collect a debt. Megan said, you're crazy. I sat at the table in the safe house, rewatching the video of Noah being tied up. Caleb looked smug in the frame. Smug people make mistakes. Ryan was the same. Victoria was the same. They all thought that capturing Noah would force me to appear. They forgot. I wasn't the woman chained in the cabin anymore. I'm free now. A free person can choose the battlefield. I won't go alone, I said. Megan stood by the window, her face cold. You want to call the police. By the time the police arrive, Noah might already be dead. Then what do you want to do? I spread out all the files Claire gave me, Caleb's old documents, and the recordings of Ryan and Victoria. Let them sort it out themselves. Megan slowly turned her head to look at me. I picked up a spare phone and sent Ryan the first anonymous message. Caleb has evidence of Emma being alive. He will sell you to Victoria. 10 o'clock tonight. East Dock Warehouse. Then, I sent Victoria the second message. Ryan didn't clean up Emma properly. Caleb left a transaction list. Ryan is to trade the list for money and leave. 10 o'clock tonight. East Dock Warehouse. Finally, I sent Caleb the third message. Ryan is going to kill you to cover his tracks. Victoria is also coming. Bring the evidence, or you won't make it through the night. After sending the messages, I threw the phone on the table. Megan stared at me. They might not believe it. They will, I said, because they never trusted each other to begin with. Claire sat in the corner, pale. Victoria will bring people. Okay, I said. The more people, the more they will say. Megan walked to the table and picked up a small camera. Are you going to stream? Record. Upload. Backup. I looked at her. If I die, the evidence will still get out. Megan was silent. She whispered, I've thought about doing this before. Why didn't you? Because back then, I just wanted to escape. She looked at me. I'm not as ruthless as you. I shook my head. I'm not ruthless. I just finally realized that begging them to spare me wouldn't work. At 9:30 in the evening, we arrived at East Dock. It was an area of abandoned warehouses, near the riverbank. The wind was strong, and the air smelled of rust and seawater. Noah was locked in warehouse number 3. We had checked the location. Megan was responsible for remote backup. Claire contacted a journalist she knew. That journalist had once investigated Megan's disappearance, but it had been suppressed by Victoria. I was in charge of making the entry. Megan stopped me. Emma, she said, if Ryan shows up, he'll try to make you soft. Not anymore. He's a good actor. I looked at her. Then let him finish his act on camera. That I tucked the camera into the inside of my jacket and turned my phone to autoupload. It was dark in the warehouse. I entered through the side door. There were abandoned crates and broken machines inside. A light was on in the farthest corner. Noah was sitting in a chair, his hands tied, blood on his lip. Caleb stood behind him. Come out. Emma, Caleb called. I know you're there. I stepped out from the shadows. Caleb saw me and smiled. I knew you'd come. Noah looked up at me, a flash of anger in his eyes. He wasn't blaming me. He didn't want me to risk it. I didn't look at him for long. I was afraid I'd get distracted. Let him go, I said. Caleb laughed. You don't have the right to negotiate. Neither do you, I said. Ryan's almost here. Caleb's expression changed. How do you know? I didn't answer. A car engine noise came from outside the warehouse door. Ryan was here. He was wearing a black jacket, looking tense. He stopped when he saw me. In that moment, the fear on his face was real, that he seemed to have really seen a ghost. Emma, I looked at him. Ryan. He took a step forward, his voice trembling. You're still alive. I'm disappointing you. His eyes were red, and he suddenly wore a look of pain. Listen to me explain. I was forced. Victoria threatened me. Caleb threatened me. I had no choice. Caleb laughed. You're so disgusting. Ryan. Ryan looked at him sharply. Shut up. Caleb pointed at me. What are you pretending to be? You weren't like this when you sold her. Ryan's expression darkened. He clearly hadn't expected Caleb to say it to his face. I stood still, not moving. Let them stab each other. Ryan lowered his voice. Caleb, do you know what you're saying? Of course I do. Caleb took a USB drive out of his pocket. All transactions I've been keeping. You think I really believe you city folks? Ryan's expression changed. Just then, another car stopped outside the warehouse. Victoria had arrived. She walked in wearing a dark coat, accompanied by 2 men. She saw me. Her eyes flickered for only a second. Then, she smiled. Emma, she said, you really resemble your mother. Just as troublesome. My chest tightened. Don't mention her, Victoria said, removing her gloves, her tone calm. Why can't we mention her? She's been dead for so many years, and you haven't stopped living in her shadow. Ryan looked at Victoria, his voice urgent. Didn't you say she was definitely dead? Victoria looked at him coldly. I thought you wouldn't be stupid this time. Caleb held up a USB drive. Enough. I want money. Cash. Give it to me tonight, or I'll turn everything in. Victoria looked at him, as if looking at a dirty rat. Do you really think you can leave alive? Caleb pressed a knife to Noah's neck. Then let's see. Noah didn't speak. His gaze remained fixed on me. I nodded gently. He understood. There were 4 of them in the warehouse. Ryan feared Victoria would silence him. Victoria feared Ryan would lose control. Caleb feared being abandoned. I feared Noah's death. But I had one thing more than them. I knew everyone was watching. The cameras were connected. The reporters had received the entrance link. The backup was uploading. Ryan suddenly rushed toward me, grabbing my wrist. Emma, come with me. I can save you. Well, leave here and just pretend none of this happened. I looked down at his hand. That hand had once placed a wedding ring on mine. Now, I only felt it was dirty. How can you save me? I asked. A light flickered in his eyes. He thought I was wavering. I know Victoria's secret, he said. I know how she handled your mother's case back then. If you come with me, I'll tell you everything. Victoria's expression finally changed. Ryan turned and yelled at her. Shut up. You've been using me from start to finish. Victoria laughed, her voice soft. When you took the money, did you not think you were being used? Ryan's face twisted. It was you who got me close to Emma. It was you who gave me her information. It was you who said she lacked love and was easy to control. A needle pricked my chest, although I knew it already, but hearing it firsthand still hurt. Ryan continued shouting, "You said as long as she's dead, the trust will loosen. You said the things Laura Carter left behind might be in Emma's hands, so she had to disappear." Victoria's eyes were cold. "Have you had enough?" Caleb laughed too. Want me to bring Lily and Megan too? You can all reminisce together." Ryan suddenly looked at Caleb. "You mountain trash. How dare you threaten me? Emma is just a commodity. Megan is too. They're all the same." Silence fell in the warehouse. That statement was too clear, too complete, too like a knife cutting through his facade that I raised my hand and slowly took out my phone. The screen was on. Ryan saw the live feed on it, and his face turned pale instantly. "What did you do?" I looked at him. "Smile, Ryan." My voice was calm. "The whole world is watching you." Ryan let go of my hand and took a step back. Victoria suddenly looked at the person beside her. "Take her phone." The two men rushed towards me. Noah suddenly moved. He leaned back and threw the chair at Caleb, along with his body. Caleb's knife slipped. I rushed forward, picked up the iron rod on the ground, and hit one of the men's wrists hard. He screamed in pain. The other man lunged at me. Megan rushed out from the side door and hit his back with a fire extinguisher. Her eyes were fierce. "I've waited for this moment for 3 years." Caleb tried to run. Noah lunged from the ground and pinned him down. The two rolled on the ground. Ryan ran towards the back door of the warehouse. Claire suddenly appeared at the door, holding a gun. Her hands trembled violently, but she didn't move aside. "Don't move." Ryan froze. "Claire." Tears filled Claire's eyes. "I've been making excuses for you since you were a child, and now that you're grown up, I told myself, you're just sick. You just need help." She held the gun, her voice trembling. "But you've killed too many people." Ryan slowly raised his hands. "Sister. You won't shoot." Claire's face turned deathly pale. Ryan smiled. He knew her too well. He knew Claire wouldn't dare. The next second, sirens blared outside the warehouse. Ryan's expression changed. Victoria turned to leave, but the gate had already been knocked open. Police rushed in. News reporters' cars were parked outside. Cameras aimed at the warehouse. Light flooded in. All the darkness was illuminated. Caleb was still cursing as he was pinned to the ground. Victoria didn't resist. She just looked at me coldly. "You think you won?" I stepped forward. "No." I looked at her. "This is just the beginning." When she was tied up, a crack finally showed. Ryan stood there, as if he had lost his soul. The police walked toward him. Just as they were about to catch him, an explosion suddenly came from behind the warehouse. It was a fuel drum. Flames burst open. Everyone instinctively backed away. Thick smoke rolled up. Ryan seized the moment, knocked Claire aside, and rushed toward the back door. I chased after him. "Ryan." He turned to look at me. The firelight illuminated his face. His eyes were no longer gentle, nor were they fearful. Only resentment remained. "You ruined me," he said. "You ruined yourself." He laughed. "It's not over yet." With that, he disappeared in the smoke. When I rushed out, I only saw a car leave. Megan was gone. My phone vibrated. An unknown number called. I answered. Ryan's voice came through the line. He was panting but laughing. "Emma, you want to win." My blood turned cold bit by bit. Megan's voice came from the other end. She was gagged and could only let out painful whimpers. Ryan said, "Come find me. Otherwise, Megan will die a second time for you." The call ended. Outside the warehouse, the wail of sirens and human voices blended together. Noah ran to my side. "Emma." I looked at the dark road in the distance, and surprisingly, I felt calm. Ryan had no way out. People with no way out are the most dangerous, and the easiest to make the last mistake. I gripped my phone. "He's going for his final performance." Noah asked, "Do you know where he'll go?" I nodded. "I do. He'll go to the seaside villa. That's the new life he was going to buy with my money." The seaside villa was outside the city. It was a house Ryan had taken me to see. White walls, blue windows, with a cliff behind it and the sea in front. That day, he held my hand and said, "When we get old, we'll live here. Every morning, we'll wake up to the sound of the sea." I really believed it then. Now, as I sat in the car, looking at that house in the distance, I only felt irony. Noah was sitting in the driver's seat, with a wound on his face. "You don't need to go in," he said. "The police will surround here. Ryan won't wait." I said, "He knows he can't escape. What he wants isn't to flee." "Then what does he want?" I looked at the lit window of the villa. "He wants to prove he still controls me." Noah was silent for a moment. "Let's go in together." "No," I said. "If he sees you, he'll kill Megan first." Noah gripped the steering wheel. "Emma." I looked at him. "Trust me this once." He didn't answer immediately. Finally, he placed a small earpiece in my hand. "He'll be listening. 10 minutes. If you haven't come out by then, well, go in." "All right." I put on the earpiece, then touched the small tracker and camera in my pocket. Megan's necklace also had a camera. That was the one she put on herself in front of the warehouse. She said, "This time, I don't just want to be someone who's running. Now, that necklace might be her chance to survive." I walked towards the villa. The sea breeze was cold. The door wasn't locked. I pushed it open. The living room was lit. Red wine, candles, and a document were placed on the table. Ryan sat on the sofa. Megan was tied to a chair, with tape over her mouth. her face pale but her eyes clear. Ryan saw me and smiled. You're here. Let her go. You're always like this. Ryan stood up. Even though you're also scared, you still act brave. I looked at him. He changed into a clean shirt, like the first time we went on a date. But his cuff had blood. It wasn't his blood. My gaze fell on Megan's wrist. The rope was tied tight. Ryan noticed my look and sighed softly. Don't worry. She's still alive for now. What do you want? NT. Ryan pointed to the document on the table. Sign it. I stepped closer and read the title clearly. Authorization for property transfer. I laughed. Are you still thinking about money? Ryan's expression darkened. Money is the only real thing. He walked up to me. His eyes tired and crazy. Love is fake. Loyalty is fake. Family is fake. Only money won't betray you. So you betray everyone then. I just struck first. He said, this world has always been like this. Did you think Victoria loved your father? Did you think your father really protected you? He locked the money in a trust, making everyone watch over you. Emma, you were a prize from the moment you were born. I looked at him. I'm not a prize. Ryan moved closer to me, his voice lowering. You are. The first time Victoria showed me your file, I knew. My heart tightened slightly. He continued. She gave me all your information. Your school, your friends, the books you liked, your fear of the dark, how you go to the cemetery every year on your mother's. She told me you were lonely, easily trusting gentle people. His voice was like poison. I didn't chase you, Emma. I studied you. As that sentence fell, the last soft part of my heart shattered. Fine. No regrets now. Ryan reached out to touch my hair. I didn't move away that I want him to say more. Do you know what's easiest to fool you? He asked. What? You want to be loved. He said. You want a home too much. I looked into his eyes. Yes. Ryan paused. I said, I want to be loved. It's not my fault. The fault is you treating love like a knife. His expression froze. I picked up the pen. I sign. You let Megan go. Megan shook her head desperately. Ryan laughed. See? You're still the same. I looked at the file. First tell me where my mother's evidence is. Ryan's smile faded. What do you know? I know Victoria killed her. I know she was taken to Caleb. I know she left something behind. Ryan stared at me. You're trying to buy time. You want my money. I said, then you have to let me know why I lost. He liked this idea. He liked me admitting I lost. Ryan walked to the liquor cabinet and poured a drink. Laura Carter is smart. He said, smarter than you. She discovered Victoria and Caleb's relationship. And she discovered your father's financial dealings. She wanted to report it. I breathed a sigh of relief. There was no sound in the headphones. Noah was listening. The police are also listening. Ryan continued. Victoria only wanted to scare her and shut her up. But Laura stole a list. That list had many names. Not just women, but buyers. And doctors who helped with certificates. Where is the list? Ryan laughed. No one knows. Victoria has been looking for years. You don't know either. His expression darkened. I don't know. My mind racing. If Victoria hadn't found it after years, the list must be hidden in a place she couldn't think of. Where would my mother hide it? My father? Me? Or some old object? Ryan suddenly walked back, grabbing my wrist. Enough. Sign. I looked at the knife in his hand. The blade was close to Megan. I picked up the pen and wrote my name at the end of the document. But it wasn't Emma Miller I wrote. I wrote Laura Carter. Ryan's face twisted when he saw it clearly. You're mocking me. Didn't you say I resembled her? I looked up. Then you should know. She wouldn't sign. Ryan slapped me that I turned my head to avoid half of it, but my face still burned with pain. Megan struggled on the chair. Ryan grabbed my hair and slammed me onto the table. You think the police can save you? You think Noah can save you? You always rely on others. I was pinned, almost unable to breathe, but my hand touched the wedding ring on the table. It was the ring he had once given me. He left it here to humiliate me. Good. I grabbed the ring and used its edge to fiercely cut his wrist. Ryan yelled in pain and released me. Abbott the bottle and smashed it into his shoulder. The glass shattered. Megan knocked over the floor lamp with the chair. The room instantly plunged into chaos. Ryan lunged at me. I backed away, grabbed the knife on the table. He stopped. My hand holding the knife was steady. It was the first time I realized I truly wasn't afraid of him anymore. Ryan gasped, his eyes bloodshot. You won't kill me, right? I said, I want. His lips were about to curl up. I continued. Because you don't deserve to die so quickly. Outside the window, the police lights suddenly flickered on. Red and blue light streamed into the living room. Ryan turned his head abruptly. The sound of a megaphone echoed outside the villa. Ryan Miller. Drop your weapon. You are surrounded. Ryan's face turned pale bit by bit. He looked at Megan's necklace, finally realizing something. Megan spat out the tape in her mouth, her voice hoarse. This time, every word you say, someone hears. Ryan rushed towards her. I lunged forward, body checking him. He grabbed my neck wildly. I was pinned to the ground, my breath cut off. His face was close to mine. Why won't you die obediently? He growled. I looked at him. My vision started to black out. Just then, the door burst open. Noah rushed in, tackling Ryan to the ground. The police rushed into the living room. Ryan was still struggling that he looked like a beast whose skin had been torn off. Wild, ugly, and without any dignity. Finally, he was pinned to the ground. his hands cuffed behind his back. He looked up at me and suddenly started crying. The tears came quickly, just like at the memorial service. So practiced. Emma, he choked out. I was wrong. I really was wrong. Please save me. You once said you would always love me. I stood up. My throat hurt. My face hurt too, but I didn't retreat. I walked toward him. Ryan looked up at me, his eyes holding the last bit of hope. Emma, please, he begged. I looked at him for a long time. Then I said, I loved a fake person. His expression froze. But you're not him. Ryan's tears stopped on his face. I turned around. He collapsed behind me, screaming, Emma, Emma. I didn't look back. That night, Ryan was taken away alive. Victoria was also officially arrested. Caleb surrendered more transaction records to plea bargain. His USB drive contained lists, transfers, videos, and many details about the victim women. Megan testified. Lily also managed to get out alive. She hid in an old well after the cabin caught fire. Noah's contact found her. She cried for a long time holding a photo of her sister. Sophie Grant also had a lead. She wasn't dead. She had been sold to a knot. Her state. When Noah heard the news, he stood completely still in the police station hallway, unable to speak. I walked over and took his hand. His hand was trembling. She's alive, I said. Noah closed his eyes and whispered, I've been looking for her for 5 years. Then go get her home, I said. 3 weeks later, Sophie was rescued. She was thin and weak, but she was alive. When Noah embraced her, I stood at the end of the hallway, not disturbing them. Some reunions don't need witnesses. A month later, the case against her mother was reopened. Police searched Victoria's old house, office, and safe, but did not find the list. One day, Claire brought over an old music box. It was a birthday gift from my mother when I was 6 years old. I always thought it had long been broken. Claire said, Victoria asked me to get rid of it. I couldn't bring myself to do it. I opened the music box. The little ballerina inside spun halfway and then got stuck. Noah helped me take the bass apart. Hiding inside was a very thin memory card. In that moment, I almost forgot to breathe. Mother did not fail. She hid the evidence in the gift she gave me. She gave the truth to a 6-year-old me, but I was too young to know that was her last protection. The memory card contained the complete list. Buyers, doctors, middlemen, transfer records. There were also early contacts between Victoria and Caleb. Most importantly, there was a video recorded by my mother. In the video, she sat in the car, pale but determined. She said, if something happens to me, it's not an accident. Victoria Hale is after me. She and a group of people are selling women. I have the list. David, if you see this, protect Emma. David was my father. At the end of the video, my mother looked at the camera, her voice trembling. Emma, if one day you see this, I'm sorry I couldn't be there for you to grow up, but you must remember, you are not anyone's prey. You are free. I sat in front of the computer, tears finally falling. This time, I didn't hold back. I cried quietly. Noah sat beside me, without speaking, only placing tissues within reach. I finally understood. My mother didn't abandon me. She was still trying to push me out of the darkness at the very last moment. The trial lasted a long time. Ryan was charged with kidnapping, attempted murder, conspiracy to traffic in persons, fraud, and multiple identity crimes. Victoria was charged with orchestrating a human trafficking network, murder, attempted murder, financial crimes, and falsifying death certificates. Caleb implicated more people. Many cases that had been dormant for years were reopened. When Megan took the stand, her voice was steady. She looked at Ryan and said, you said no one would believe me. Now, I believe myself. Lily testified while crying. She admitted to having done wrong things out of fear, but she also gave up the location where Caleb was hiding people. She saved 3 women who were still alive. When it was my turn, Ryan kept staring at me. He had lost a lot of weight, and his eyes had no light. The prosecutor asked me, Ms. Carter, what do you want to say to the defendant Ryan Miller? I looked at Ryan. The entire courtroom fell silent. Ryan's lips moved, as if he still wanted to call me Emma. I said, the moment you sold me, I was no longer your wife. I paused. Now, I am your witness. Ryan lowered his head. He finally stopped acting. On the day of the verdict, Victoria was still standing straight in her gray prison uniform. As she passed me, she whispered, you think this is the end? I looked at her. No, I said, every day you wake up for the rest of your life, you'll know you lost. This is just the beginning. Her face finally changed. That was the first time I saw Victoria's true defeat. A year later, I stood at the entrance of a newly established foundation. The sign read, Laura Carter Foundation. This foundation was established with some of the money left to me by my father. It helps women trapped by control, deception, sale, and domestic violence. Megan became the legal advisor for the foundation. Lily is in charge of the Survivors Mutual Help Group. Sophie is still recovering, but she has started painting. She says she wants to hold a small art exhibition in the future. Claire moved to another city. She wrote me a letter, saying she finally started learning not to take responsibility for Ryan's life. Noah stood outside the door, holding 2 cups of coffee. You did a great job today. he said. I took the coffee. My hands have been shaking. No one noticed. You did. He smiled. Because I've been looking at you. I looked at the end of the street. The sun was bright. The wind was light. I once thought that surviving was the end. Then I realized that surviving is just the beginning. No. Ah asked. Are you still afraid? I nodded. Afraid. He didn't say, don't be afraid. He just stood beside me. I watched the sunlight fall on the foundation's glass door. It reflected my face. Short hair. Light makeup. Calm eyes. No longer Ryan Miller's wife. No longer the wedding dress in Caleb's basement. No longer the Emma Miller on the gravestone. I am Emma Carter, Laura Carter's daughter. Someone who survived from the deep mountains. And someone who won't run away anymore.